I've said that David Napier, the medical anthropologist at UCL, a very famous professor whose work is absolutely useless, as far as I've been able to find out. And it's supposed to help black people and Asian people like myself. And I've looked into it, and it's all bogus. This man is as far as I can tell, and I'm not an expert, is a useless man. Now, I've said that he's a racist, and, he's unapologetic about being a racist. In the Le Monde diplomatique in August 2011, he wrote about a situation which, it was something which happened in West London. His card had been clamped because it lacked a tax disc. His card had been clamped by a predatory private company because it lacked a tax disc. Predatory. He was breaking the law. But the private company was predatory. Perhaps the private company was owned by Jews. Levantines. I don't know. But he then goes to I was determined to get the disc from the post office and locate the clamping firm and liberate my car for Christmas. So he's waiting in a line at the post office, as I've done and most of us have done. And let's look at what he says. He says that the queue was of old age pensioners. This is mad. I'd be in the queue. There were a lot of other people. West London, even 10 years ago, was ethnically very diverse. It was diverse in terms of demographics. And, but in his mind, he's a white man with white man privilege, and, he didn't have a tax disc. Oh, yes, but I'm a white man, why should I have a tax disc? I'm white, predator, private company has come and, how sad, see, I've had to go to the post office, and, most of us have to go to the post office. Ordinary people who live in this country will go to the post office. But for him, it was a novel experience, and it was Christmas, and, he was very determined, he was fighting to get his car back from this predator private company because of his tax disc. And, let me read out exactly what he says. He says that the queue was of elderly pensioners. I've been in plenty of queues. I've been in every bloody queue in my life. And demographically, it's just simply impossible that you'd have a queue only of pensioners. You would have people like me, you would have ladies from who look like me, or who look, and you'd have men. But what does this man see? He sees only white pensioners. You say, the white pensioner, who fought in the war, and they deserve everything. And he doesn't see that there's anybody else in the queue. How extraordinary, how extraordinary. This medical anthropologist sees what he likes. So he has to diagnose what he likes. And, now he's going to tell us a story. He's going to tell us a story. He was determined to get the disc from the post office, locate the clamping firm, because the clamping firm was so evil, and liberate my car for Christmas. Not Eid, not Ramadan, not Diwali. No, it was Christmas. I must liberate my car for Christmas because I am Santa Claus, I'm white. And my car is Santa's sleigh. And I deserve special treatment. Now, what does he say? As we waited, and of course, in his mind, everybody else in the queue was a beaten down, old-age pensioner was white. None of them were black. How extraordinary. How amazing. In West London. You know, West London of apartheid district. Which postal district of West London, South West London, or any other part of London has this sort of apartheid where you'll only see white pensioners? This is in 2011. This man isn't writing about 1948, he's writing about 2011. Does he expect the people of Le Monde Diplomatique to believe him? Perhaps. After all, he is a professor of medical anthropology. In other words, a shaman, a charlatan, a piece of shit. So, as we waited, a man came down the street, went to the door of the post office, sat in the window, smiling broadly. He smiled broadly. He probably had watermelon teeth. Went to the door of the post office, tapped in the window, smiling broadly, and was let in. It was exactly 9 o'clock, and I assumed he was an employee. Might have been. We all followed him inside, still managing our queue places, only to find him at the counter asking in very broken English, but buying stamps. I felt an urge to intervene, because I was annoyed by his queue jumping, especially ahead of the elderly. So, what's just happened? We've got a guy who, smiles broadly, speaks broken English, and he taps in the window, he gets the line moving. He's done you guys a favour. Obviously he does have some connection with that place. And he might ask in broken English, he might say, well, I was when I was, I guess it's stamp hour. Yeah. Well, that might be broken English, but what is this man's major problem? So, walking to the window, I asked the postal worker not to serve him. The previously silent queue then spoke up. No, shouted. Don't serve him, they chanted. Don't serve him. It was too late. Safely behind his glass-screened counter, the postmaster slid forward his stamps. As the interloper passed me, I pointed out that it shouldn't be so rude when a queue wasn't of pensioners. I thought he said it was a queue of pensioners. No, when a queue wasn't of pensioners, because somebody might assault him. It wasn't a threat, just advice. So, what is this stupid cunt really saying? Suppose I'd been the man, worked at that post office, or had to come in for some reason to get things going, and I might speak in broken English, or in Gujarati English, or in Swahili English, or I guess the stamps that I can go and do this. And some fucking white cunt tries to threaten me. He says, oh, well, the queue wasn't of pensioners because somebody might assault him. Well, what is wrong with David Napier? Does he not understand that we have black and Asian people? It wasn't just us, it was homosexuals. Women of a certain sort. They admitted that people didn't like, was assaulted. But we're not assaulted anymore, David Napier. Because we'll beat you, you stupid cunt. We will beat you, black and blue. What is wrong with this man? Why does he not get that we'll fight back? Why does he not understand that he is a fascist, a racist, somebody with a fucking Nazi ideology, who invokes vast queues of white, beaten down pensioners? Oh yes, the pensioners, they're all over there, and he thinks of himself as this marvellous hero. How old are you, you stupid cunt, David? How old are you? You're not as young, are you, you cunt? And let me tell you something else, for free, David Napier. You disgrace the office that you hold by telling stupid lies. You know, anybody now can actually look up things on their smartphone, and they can say that you're a fool. Now, this is 2011, this is 10 years ago. David fucking Napier, professor of being a racist, not a medical anthropologist at all. The anthropologist started off as a racist discipline, but this man is not a doctor, he's just a racist. What does he say? Everybody in that queue felt that they were in a difficult situation, and they felt at that moment together in their aloneness. This is nonsense. This is stupidity. Because I could have been in that queue, and most people who go to post offices and so on, they understand that. There's a guy who comes along and starts things up, and he does get priority. He gets his stamps or whatever and fucks off, because he does some vital function. And this is foolish. This man is a fool, and this guy is seeking to resurrect, and he tried this 10 years ago, he's trying to resurrect racism. But what happened to him at UCL? What happens to him in London? He's running scared. He's running scared, isn't he? He probably lives in Oxford or some shithole. He's not welcome to have these sort of attitudes here in West London or anywhere else in London. He might not have noticed. Well, this is written in 2011. London has a gentleman from Pakistan for an hour. Who doesn't like it at all, does he? Fucking medical anthropologist. It doesn't matter at all whether we're getting more racist or less racist according to some stupid poll. What does matter is that we must get rid of people like A. David Napier, Professor of Medical Anthropology at University College London, and director of its Center of Applied Global Citizenship. We've got to get rid of this fucking racist cunt. He hasn't worked with homeless people. He hasn't worked with vulnerable populations. He has merely been a nuisance.